Welcome to the Business Therapy Podcast, a raw, unapologetic show built exclusively for hungry e-commerce entrepreneurs and executives craving explosive growth. I am Drew IQ, and you're tuning into the first session of our 4-part narrative-driven therapy series featuring Alex. Okay, so each session kicks off by diving into Alex's struggles and reviewing his dashboard you see on the screen behind me. It is then followed by a casual, insightful conversation with our co-hosts, Andrew and Tyler, digging into his struggles and offering some advice. All right, it's time to enter business therapy. Let's hear what Alex has to say.
Hey Andrew, hey Tyler, this is Alex. Nice to connect digitally even under these circumstances. Honestly, therapy's never been my thing, but apparently Reddit's suggestion is when life hands you overwhelming CPC costs instead of the usual lemons, you get business therapy. So here we are. I genuinely believed building an Amazon brand would bring freedom, profits, maybe even a relaxing beach vacation and those drinks with the little umbrellas. Instead, every dollar spent on Amazon ads feels like tossing money into an endless ocean I can't possibly navigate. CPC costs are soaring, my strategies are painfully outdated, and I've somehow become an artist whose only medium is anxiety, my greatest work being me, stressed out. Let's be clear, I'm financing Bezos's next yacht while I drown in spreadsheets. Any tips on how I stop swimming against the current? Or is there actually a smarter way to ride this wave?
Tyler, it's good to be back in session. I think Alex has a real problem. This is a real problem for a lot of e-commerce sellers, a lot of Amazon sellers. Rising costs in advertising, rising costs in, we have the tariffs coming online, so just rising costs across the board. I think there's a lot of reasons why, but it's something that every e-commerce brand, every e-commerce seller is dealing with right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to get a competitive advantage, right? Like with AI able to optimize your listing and ads, it's almost like if you got the best tool, you're the same as everyone else, right? So it's a hard one. I guess let's try to dig
And it's
into it.
something that we can't control, right? Like I think that's one thing that becomes super stressful as a business owner. Is there's so many elements like economic factors. There's so many things outside of your control. We can't control what Amazon's doing with costs, if they're raising fees in different areas, or what competitors are doing.
Yeah.
The whys are endless, really, right? You've got the pandemic, which brought a bunch of retailers online. You have Amazon, just the natural course, raising costs. You got market saturation, right? So just more and more sellers, more and more people getting online and advertising as brands. The whys are endless.
Yeah.
Can you think of a few more besides that?
Yeah, I mean, and also like Amazon itself is kind of like its own little black box, right? Like when you're doing ads outside of it, you have all of these creative channels and avenues you can do that are all very lucrative. Where in Amazon you kind of like have to do it, right? Like you don't even have an option compared to other platforms, so they almost have like a little monopoly when it comes to it.
Right. And I mean, there's solutions to, okay, increasing costs here. Like maybe I look to another platform like TikTok Shop, or maybe I'm looking to Walmart or something where the costs are a little bit lower, but everyone wants to be on Amazon because that's where the customers are, right? And so, okay, you have these increasing costs across the board. What can you do as a seller? What can you do as a brand to kind of combat that? And I think I'm naturally like, I don't like to think like, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm hopeless, right? So it's always like, well, what can I control? What can I control? And what I think about is really when you're thinking about the two areas to optimize on Amazon, traffic and conversion, and CPC and ads are traffic based. Well, what's something you can control when that's happening? Well, you can go focus on conversion and really improve your content. Make sure with every dollar you're spending it to get that traffic, when they land on your page, when they land on your product, you're doing everything you can to help them convert. So really storytelling images,
I'm
making sure
gonna
you're,
throw
you're
something
retail
back at
ready
you
and
on that one.
ready.
So I'm gonna let you get to traffic after, but what if, I mean, like if you're smart and you know how to like work Chat GPT or anything, right? Like you can have it pretty much optimize your whole listing, right, in a couple of minutes, right? And so like you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to hire a branding team or a marketing team. And so if you just are open to using technology, you can get the best that you possibly can get. And when everyone has that, then what, right? Like there's kind of like that situation of when everyone's great, then no one's great. And so how do you feel about that? Like once people, because there are some people that don't embrace technology and they're just behind and they're losing, right? But the ones that do, they're even with everyone else because there's not really, they're all on the same playing field. So how do you feel about that when it comes to conversions?
Yeah, I think, well, you're right. Like AI and automation and software has taken the world by storm. But I still think of it as like, you have the master electrician, and like software is a tool in his belt. And,
Yeah.
and everyone can wield a hammer a different way or a set of pliers a different way. Like, there is a skill set to using the tools as well. But it really comes down to being able to see the problem and then what's the best tool to apply to that, because you can only automate so much, you can only negate so many keywords, you can only farm so many keywords out of
Yeah.
campaigns and really get long tail or niche down. There's only so much element to that. So what are the other things you can control? And that's really why I brought, like, focusing on conversion, focusing on images that get that click out of search results, focusing on images that are really saying why yours is better. So for every dollar you're spending, you're bringing them there. And I think there's even some software that can A/B test on images
Yeah.
and things like that. But all of it really comes down to making the most out of your clicks. As they're rising, what can you do? It's just convert on more clicks.
Yeah, and it sounds like you got to be active. There's no more just, like let it ride out. It sounds like you got to be A/B testing and testing new things constantly. Because, yeah, I mean, there's no more just like let it play, right? Like if you're leaving your ads alone for a month, like probably just all of the algorithms and bid strategies are just killing you. Like I guess it's for me, it's just it makes it just harder, right? Like for the everyday kind of average Joe, like if you're not on that, like either paying for the best softwares or innovative, you're going to be behind, right? So yeah, it's definitely a challenge. What other kind of insights you have around it?
Drew IQ here to introduce our Q1 2025 crowdsourced Amazon PPC Mistakes and Struggles report. This report is created from your fellow peers' pain and frustrations voiced on Reddit, Quora, Google, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, blogs, and more. Utilizing EcomPulse market intelligence technology, we are able to score and rank the top Amazon PPC pitfalls your competition have confessed to over the last year. Use the link below to download this data-driven report so you don't make the same mistake your competition did. Well, I think those are two great areas, and areas that aren't addressed enough, which is just like, look, if I can't control this in my business, what can I control? It's like I think about it in a personal life kind of way, where it's like, look, if everything at work is going crazy and I have no control over it, it's like I want my house clean, I'm in the gym, I'm eating right, like, what are the things I can control to help with that? And I think in the business landscape, it's very similar in your business. So if you can't control rising costs, you can't control what your competitors are doing, you can't control what Amazon's doing, you can't control what Trump and the government's doing as far as like tariffs and all these things that lead to raising costs for us or rising costs for us. Um, you might need to raise the price of your product. Well, if you're going to raise the price of your product to make up for those costs per clicks, think about conversion, think about all the things you're doing to make it worth that, and use software the best you can to help you dig into those details, finding those keywords that shouldn't be there, finding the ones that convert better, finding, scraping reviews to figure out what customers are searching for, so then you can advertise on that. And AI, like you mentioned, AI is the ultimate game changer. And it's not just that it arrived on the scene, but it really is still that master electrician that
Yeah.
knows how to use AI and
Yeah.
use LLMs and use the software.
Yeah. No, and I think that's going to be a key. You made a comment earlier today about storytelling, right? And my comeback was like, yeah, I may not be good at storytelling, but I could build an AI that's good at storytelling, right? And so it's like how can I don't need to know something, but I can build something to be an expert in it. And that those people that can do that, those are going to be the people that really like thrive, right? So I think it's getting to a point where it's kind of like that middle class, right? Like there's going to be the people that are down here, and then any ones that can adapt. That gap is about to just be huge, and we're already kind of seeing it. And so because it's just so hard, right? And the cost of it, like you have to work harder. There is no, even if you just have the best software, that's still not enough anymore. And so, like, as you know, we're working on things that are just out the box because that's the only way to get a competitive edge.
Yeah, I would say, to Alex's point of what do I do with costs rising? What do I do? The rising tide of costs are just crazy with, especially in regards to PPC. I think it's focus on the things you can control, like your conversion rate, your listing images, and lean in to AI, lean into automation, lean into software. You need to be testing on both fronts, even testing with software. It's not, don't pick the first software out the back, out the gate. Maybe listen to experts, listen to pros, ask a friend, try different things, demo different products, because they all work a little bit differently. They're all going to be able to help you a different way. But it really depends on your level of expertise, I think, which tool is best for you, because some are easier to use for the beginner, and some are like, you get more dials with the real advanced user. But lean into conversion, lean into software, and I think that's the best way to combat rising
So
costs.
I got a good idea, I think. And I think the one of the main kind of things someone can do is in the conversion side is really keying on the keyword discovery. I feel like doing unique kind of long tail keywords and using the AI to optimize that will give you a competitive edge, and that's not very hard to do, because when it comes to just pure optimization of cost per click, the machines are doing it, right? Like you can't beat the machine. Like there's no way you're beating an algorithm. Only way you can beat it is where there's still a little bit of creativity, right? Nothing is fully 100% creative anymore. There is a balance between the AI and the human creativity, but anything that leans more on the creative thinking and the AI can't just do it itself, like that's what you should probably be focusing on and getting really good at, and finding that synergy between the human creative thinking and the AI, because that to me that's the only way that you will get the competitive edge, because you're not being a machine, right? And so that's kind of one that I was thinking about. You got any other kind of tips? What about on the traffic side? You didn't really hit on that too much.
Yeah, so you talked about long tail keywords, right? We've talked about negating bad ones they're increasing your CPC, if you main images, getting more clicks. I think the last one I would really say can help CPC, and some stuff that we're implementing, because not every brand's the same, right? So anyone listening to this, like, there's unique challenges to different products, different categories. Who are you competing with? How's your margins and all these things? But in Alex's case, right, it's a very straightforward product, that they sell, commoditized type products. So they're scaling, they're growing, but it's also like fierce competition. And one of the ways that I've found to combat this is with day parting. And I know that that's not something brand new or unique, but really having good software that can down like accurately to the hour really tell you when customers are purchasing the most from your ads, and not just when they're there. Because if you understand how Amazon advertising works, like every day at the top of the day, your budget starts over. And so if you have a daily budget, it starts early morning, and it goes all the way through. And if you run out of budget, it doesn't reset till the next day. Right. So, but let's say that you're not getting sales for the first 6 hours of the day, or maybe the last 6 hours of the day, or maybe the middle of the day, depending on your customers' buying cycle, or when they're shopping, or different things like that, because the data will tell you, right? You can adjust your ads to run after your competitors have run out. For example, you can have it where it's slimmer through the beginning of the day. You're going to see your competitors run out of budget, depending on what category you're in. You'll see them run out of budget. So at the end of the day, if you still have budget because you've been day parting or spreading your ads out, you'll actually get lower cost per click at the end of the day when there's less competitors on their spending. So that's another way where using software and AI can lower your CPCs, is essentially using day parting effectively, depending on your products.
All right, so I'm gonna say one more before my recommendation, being the tech guy, is the market is going so fast. Everything is going so fast, right? And this is Amazon, the whole world, technology. There, like you have to be proactive. Like there is no more like I'm going to do this strategy for 2 years, right? It's like, I'm going to do this strategy this month and then see what happens next month. Like you have to be proactive, because if not, you will be left behind quick, right? And I used to think there was an excuse for it, for not being proactive, but you can literally learn everything instantly now. Like there is really no excuse of, I'm not a tech guy, I'm not this. Like, you can learn it. You just got to make the decision to learn it or not, right? But that's your choice if you want to keep your company going, or whoever is in charge of that. Because you don't you have to learn it. Like there is no, I'm just going to do this and let it play. Like, you have to be the tech guy. You have to, because engineering is going to take over marketing if it hasn't already, right? Like I call myself, the marketer engineer, because it used to be data science, right? And that was like advanced. Now it's engineering. Like, I can make the thing that will think for me, and that's the new level. And if you just constantly do what you did in 2000 or what, like that, it just, you will be left behind. You don't have the, I guess, the luxury of anymore of not being that person. Is at least that's my view. What, I'll let you jump in real quick before
No,
before we go.
I mean, I love it. I mean, that's why we partnered up, was and Marknology was seeing the need for AI in our business implemented throughout, like from our strategies to the way we manage clients to even the agency stuff. And it was like, I'm either going to take that on and learn everything I need to know, and get super innovative on the AI side, or bring some of that expertise in house. Everyone has to choose the way that they want to go about something. You can either learn all these PPC things and strategies yourself, or you can go get some help like Alex is, right? He's trying to get some advice on what's the best path forward for him. So I think what I loved, about the pandemic, in spite of everything that was stressful and being like curfew and so much of our lives changing and feeling like we're in a cage, was I saw this a lot of business owners turn into entrepreneurs again. And I just absolutely loved it, because they were innovating, they were embracing change, like the founders, the business owners, like the guys at the top, girls at the top. They were innovating because they had to, for survival. And that was one bright side, I think, to the whole thing, was seeing how many companies innovated, pivoted, changed, continued to A/B test and try new things. And I think in e-commerce specifically, if you don't have that mentality day in and day out, you'll be left behind. You can only pause for a short amount of time in e-commerce before you're left behind, and especially with AI coming onto the scene, that time is getting just sped up faster and faster and faster. So hopefully Alex takes some of these insights to heart and puts them into practice, because I really think that to take his business forward.